April 21st, 1836 AD, the Battle of San Jacinto. On April 21st, 1836 AD, the Texian Army defeated the Mexican Army at the Battle of San Jacinto, effectively ending the Texas Revolution. The battle lasted less than 18 minutes. The day before, on April 20th, Santa Anna and his 700 soldiers made a base camp near the Texian Army's camp near San Jacinto River. Unlike the Texicans led by Sam Houston, their camp was hidden and well protected, while Santa Anna's was wide open and exposed with no way of escaping. They were only separated by 500 yards of wide open plain. According to the Mexican Army Corporal Pedro Delgado, the campground of His Excellency's selection was all in respects against military rules, and any youngster would have done better. The two sides fought several skirmishes, but Sam Houston didn't want to attack the Mexican army yet and was angry with his anxious men because he didn't want to reveal their hidden location to Santa Anna. Realizing how exposed they were, the Mexican soldiers tried to create battlefield fortifications with whatever was available to them to give them some kind of protection against a potential Texican attack. They made breastworks out of their saddles, shrubs, and their packs. General Cross arrived into the Mexican Army camp the next morning around 9 a.m. with 540 soldiers that were new recruits who had been marching for almost 24 hours with no food or sleep. The Mexican Army now numbered over 1,200 soldiers compared to Sam Houston's 800. After a few hours of waiting for the Texian Army to attack their camp, Santa Anna let Cross's soldiers sleep. His men also took advantage and slept as well. Sam Houston ordered the destruction of Vince's Bridge, which was located about 8 miles from the Mexican Army camp, getting rid of their only viable way for them to escape safely in case of a retreat. In his own words, Sam Houston described how his soldiers prepared their movements for battle. Colonel Edward Burleson was assigned the center. The 2nd Regiment, under the command of Colonel Sidney Sherman, formed the left wing of the army. The artillery, under the special command of Colonel George Hackley, Inspector General, was placed on the right of the 1st Regiment, and 4 companies under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Henry Millard sustained the artillery on the right, and our cavalry, 61 in number, was commanded by Colonel Mirabeau Lamar, placed on our extreme right, composed our line. The Texian cannons were fired at 4:30 p.m., signaling the beginning of the battle. The Texian army swarmed over the Mexican army's breastworks as they attacked the soldiers. Most of them were sleeping or resting. They shouted, "Remember the Alamo!" and "Remember Goliad!" In the confusion, Santa Anna and Cos tried to rally the soldiers and form some kind of defense, but after about 18 minutes of fighting, the bulk of the army retreated. Many of the Mexican soldiers were killed while they were retreating or trying to surrender by angry and vengeful Texan volunteers. The slaughter of the soldiers got so bad that Sam Houston and Thomas Rusk tried to stop the needless massacre of unarmed soldiers but were unable to. Many of the retreating soldiers were killed while trying to cross the marsh to Peggy Lake by Texicans who were positioned along the banks and shot them from a distance. 650 Mexican soldiers were killed, 208 were wounded, and over 300 were captured. The Texicans lost 11 and had 30 wounded. The rest of the Mexican army in Texas was commanded by Generals Jose Urrea and Vicente Villasola, were standing by with over 4,000 soldiers ready to crush the Texian army, but because of Santa Anna's jealousy of Urrea's prior victories against the Texans, wanted the glory of defeating Sam Houston and paid for it dearly with the destruction of his own soldiers. Santa Anna was captured the next day wearing a private's uniform. He was unable to escape due to the destruction of Vince's Bridge. The Texicans wanted to execute him, but he parleyed for his life with Sam Houston and said that he'll keep Urrea and Villasola's large army from invading the region.